Okay, so I'm doing a review for this book, The Positive Breastfeeding Book by Amy Brown. I was really excited to read this book. I've heard a lot about Amy Brown and I've nearly seen her speak a number of times, so I was desperate to find out what she had to say, to finally find out. This book is called The Positive Breastfeeding Book, and positive it certainly was. It covered some emotive subjects and it was always done sensitively and in many ways beautifully. I've read a lot of breastfeeding and gentle parenting books and I really feel that this is a good one. It was well written, well researched and well structured. It reads easily, it had some humour, which I always like, and it also spoke about some strong parenting choices convincingly and gently. I want to give a shout out now for the phrase, if in doubt get them out, because I will certainly be using that in the future. You can tell that Brown really understands breastfeeding and breastfeeding mothers and what they need. She's approached this book not from the standpoint of here is all the knowledge that I must impart, but what do breastfeeding mums need to know? What do they care about? How do they feel? She's not an instructor on the journey, she's a friend on it. This book was very carefully and positively written. Brown's worked very carefully with her language and her phrasing so that even when she is discussing difficult areas, she does it sensitively and without leaving anyone ignored. The book is long and I found the idea of reading it a little daunting. However, it was easy to read. It was very nicely structured and broken up so that it didn't feel like an endless sea of words to get through. I also appreciated the different layout in the order of the book that Amy Brown has used. So generally with these sorts of books they're laid out in ages and stages, whereas this was laid out as different areas to be aware of. And I think it worked well. It felt more casual and like a dialogue with a friend rather than a specific, at this stage expect this. I loved the contact sheet on the first page, the handy sheets for notes at the back, and the regular signposting to more support so that parents know they are not alone. This book really stresses the importance of support for mothers who are breastfeeding, to the point that the very first page of the book is where you can get help and support, just so that mums can find that information easily in the haze of having a new baby to feed. I can't agree with Brown more on this. Support is crucial to women's breastfeeding success and enjoyment, and unfortunately it's often lacking or sporadic across the UK. Brown regularly refers back to the importance of support from professionals, friends and family, and society as a whole. Although the book had a great feeling of support, there wasn't always a lot of practical information. I wouldn't recommend this book as a how-to guide for breastfeeding. It's arming women and families with knowledge and confidence to find out the right practical support for themselves. Brown gives a heavy endorsement for the breast crawl for brand new babies to feed. Although personally I'm not a big fan of it. I could never manage it myself, although I tried and I researched it a lot. And when I have seen it done, I tend to think the attachment looks bloody awful. But I know it's very popular, and I think it's good that it encourages a lot of skin to skin and taking time and allowing the baby to lead. And if it works for mums and it gets breastfeeding off to a good start, then I'm all for it. I just it doesn't really, I don't feel comfortable with it. I loved the real mothers' comments that were scattered through the book, and they maintain that human as opposed to professional experience. And they show the great variety of experience. The real life stories show some of the amazing journeys that women, babies and families can go through. They show the overwhelming walls that can be overcome. They showed the personal value of breastfeeding, and I think they all brought a tear to my eye. Damn, those personal stories are so emotional. There were also excerpts from many different health professionals and experts in different areas, which I didn't always agree with, but they certainly gave the feeling that there is a large community to be accessed if you need it with your new baby, which I think gives a sense of reassurance to new parents that they're not on their own at this important time in their lives. I think because there's so much so many people adding to the book from the sort of the mothers' experiences, the people who you can get help from, links to other websites. It really helps new mothers to feel that they're not alone. And the book is very well researched and referenced, and is a wonderfully supportive and informative companion to breastfeeding mothers. Many important areas are covered that are sometimes neglected in breastfeeding books, and the information was sound, such as in areas of baby sleep, attachment, carrying, etc. These are areas that go hand in hand with breastfeeding, but which are often separated out when they should be included. There were other difficult areas such as premature or unwell babies, which were handled really sensitively. There's clearly been a lot of effort put in by Brown to give women something that they can use as an accomplice on their journey. This book is there to help them and keeps reiterating the point to them of their own success. This book never blames women for their outcomes. It's most often a matter of not having the right support. As much as I had wanted to read Amy Brown's book, when I saw how many pages there were, I wondered how well I would be able to maintain enthusiasm, having read so many breastfeeding books before. I'm happy to say that Brown has won me over. Not only did I think the book was brilliantly written, with excellent information, it made me feel emotional and full of love for all the mothers and babies in the world, all of them. It also reminded me how much I love breastfeeding and how glad I am that I had the experience with my own children. I look back now and they're some of the warmest memories I have. So I thought this book, this one here, was excellent, and I would definitely recommend it for pregnant women and people interested in breastfeeding. Okay, thank you.